everyone. I'm Steve here with Brian Sanchez. Brian Sanchez is at the Fitness for 10 studio in Carson City, Nevada. If you guys want to reach out to me, you can get me at stevemain.com. Please put comments in the comment section on this topic. This is one that is people are dying for information. I think we're going to talk about TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, and we're just going to have an honest conversation with our experience, what we know, our ages, maybe what we've done in the past. So welcome, Brian.
How you doing, Steve? Hey, I think on a side point, as we talk about these things, everybody, when we're talking about this, is because we have information that we've gathered on it. We are not doctors. We cannot make recommendations to you.
Right. Yes. We're not doctors. And we're talking from our own experience, and from our own ages. Up front, okay, I'm 60. How old are you, Brian?
55.
Okay, so you relate this to a 60-year-old and a 55-year-old with our own experience. And this is an interesting topic because you go back, look, we've talked about this before. I've talked about this with other trainers, and I'm just 100% honest. I try to be an open book on this. I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. Is that what makes me fit? No. And I'm pretty fit. I'd say I'm fit for a 25-year-old. I'm fit. But is it because of that? No. It's because I exercise and I'm a freak about what I put in my mouth. Do I eat something bad once in a while? Yeah, you know what? Sometimes I have a beer. But I said sometimes. But my diet is very strict, and I'm exercising all the time at my level for my age. That's why I'm fit. Now, there's all these other things that we can talk about. We can talk about peptides, testosterone, all these things that, yeah, your protein, it all plays a part. So we just kind of kick that around, and just so you know, and what's my dosage? I'll tell you. It's 0.25 milliliters. I'm at 100 milligrams a week, which is a very small dosage. That puts me up to about 700. You're supposed to be in between 300 and 900. That takes me to about 700. But what about my estradiol? What about all my other hormones? They're dialed in at that very small dosage for me. So my body just sees it as normal. If I don't use it, my testosterone's been as low as 100. And I'm like, whoa, that's low, and that's dangerously low. It can affect your heart. You're at risk for heart disease and a lot of other problems if your testosterone is that low. Again, we're not doctors, and if we were talking before we got on, if you need to look at this for your own health, make sure you see a specialist. This is not for your general practitioner. This is for a specialist that specializes in hormones. For me, there's certain things I won't do. I won't take an estrogen blocker. Not going to do it. I will take the testosterone to get it up to the right level, but I try to use all natural supplements like DIM to keep the estrogen, estradiol in check. So also we were talking, Brian, you need some men and women need to get their testosterone right also. I just don't know as much about how to do that, but it's just as important. But some men now, their testosterone's low in their late 20s, early 30s. Their testosterone's too low. So I know you've talked about it a lot, Brian. So what are your initial thoughts on this?
Well, I think what's important is and everybody that's watching what we're talking about today, we're kind of more into the men client base right now because that's where this topic generally hangs. But it's important for women. You have to know this. Really, the overall thing that you're going to hear us talk about over a few of these discussions is know your body. Um, Testosterone replacement therapy, I'm a big proponent of. I personally am not involved with that, but I am studying it. I am preparing myself to go see a specialist. I'm at that age. As you know, Steve, come on, you're a collegiate athlete. You were dialed in, your body's rocking. But you and I both know you start getting into 30 years old, 35, your testosterone is gonna drop. And the body does need it to maintain yourself in optimum health. Now, we're not talking about anybody. We are not talking about going seeing, Joey the fish in the back corner and getting shot at in the stalls in the showers, hiding from people and stacking. We're not talking about this stuff. This isn't the 70s and 80s where we're running around with bandanas on and weightlifting pants. We are talking about a specialized program in which you're working with doctors, in which they enroll you in these programs, and you are medically observed, watched, prepared, taken care of in every bit of this. Your bloods are regularly ran. You go to your physicals. You take care of your body through this. And there's things you want to start looking for to even see if this is really a necessity for you. I mean, if you're starting to get tired often, if your hair is falling out, which is one of my things, I've seen an increase in hair coming off my body. I know what it is. Granted, age is one thing, but when we relate it to you're just getting old, no, my testosterone's going down in my body. Body weight, sleeping problems, attitude, depression, intimacy, vitality, all of this stuff is directly related to testosterone. And if it's coming down and it's getting too low, you're going to have these effects. So speed that up. With all the studies and information, doctors have found safe ways to use testosterone replacement therapy to take care of their clients, and it maintains better health. And I think it's a fantastic idea for us as we get older. And, Steve, I mean, I've known you now. We've been around each other for since 2015, and you're always on the go. You work out. You're keeping it rocking. You're a couple of years older than me, but you're better looking. And you know, uh, I think this helps you, and I'm getting ready to do this.
Well, let me just say something that's very interesting. I never knew. And look, usually people have symptoms. And you know what the symptoms are? You just named some of them: sleep, depression. I had none of those. But what's the main one? You know, Johnson's not working. Hey, Johnson, what's wrong with you? Okay, that's an obvious one. I never had any symptoms. I felt great. I never would have known my testosterone was way too low. So just because you don't have symptoms, you could be like me, that doesn't mean it's not low, and it doesn't mean you're not at danger for a lot of other health problems. So get it tested. And why do you want to get it tested? Why would I get it tested when I'm 30? Here's why. You want a base. You want to know what that base level is. Okay, this is what it was when I was 30. I'm good. This is what it was when I'm 40. Okay, it dropped a little bit. I'm still good. This is what it was when I'm 45. Okay, when did it drop? Because you might be at age 30, you might be at 900. That's really good. And we were talking about this before we got on camera too, Brian. So if you go from 900 to 400, that's worse. Probably. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm giving my opinion and just from my knowledge with my body. Going from 900 to 400 could be worse than going from 400 to 350, even though 350 is lower. So you got to get tested, get that baseline. And if you have these symptoms, if you're a male, if you're over 40, it's pretty obvious that there's something wrong with your testosterone. That's the first place. Don't go get these other drugs. Again, I'm not a doctor, but just listen to my opinion. I would never take any other drugs to help Johnson do his job.
Well, I think that's
You know?
important, Steve. I mean, come on now. Why go get um, a prescription for uh, um, erectile dysfunction, if you will? Why go get a prescription of that when, boy, it could be the testosterone issue kicking in? And instead of fixing, your uh, 8 minutes of passion, if you will, why don't you fix your total body? Why don't you
Yes.
address your overall wellness? Because
The
these
problem.
just
Address the
yeah, these
problem.
testosterone issues aren't just going to be the intimacy. It's your blood pressure, it's your heart rate, it's your lipids, it's the way your body processes for men. And this stuff is studied, just like the benefits of creatine. When creatine first came out, we were all afraid of it. When steroids came out, yes, it was an abused product. Yes, testosterone was an abused product because guys were guessing. We all thought, back in the day that ephedra based products were the way to go for weight loss. We all know now you're going to blow your heart up. You know, now science, understanding, and development has brought it into a norm, and now they go, wait, we know how to take care of you. Come see us. And I think that's important for people to understand because you got to get rid of the stigma of, oh, shoot, this guy takes testosterone. We're not talking about, like I said, talking to Cousin Eddie out in the back parking lot and getting a shot. We're talking about medically prescribed programs for the benefit of your well being.
And let me just, here's a good way to check yourself to see if your motives are correct with this. What is your reason for this? It needs to be health, not vanity, because there was when I was in college, and I was one of them, to be honest with you, taking performance enhancing drugs for the wrong reason. And that is a recreational use. Now, no doctor who is worth anything, worth their salt, is going to prescribe drugs for someone who doesn't need them. And recreational use of PEDs, performance enhancement drugs, you're going down the wrong road. You're going down the wrong road of temporary how you look instead of focusing on health. Now, getting on testosterone replacement therapy, is that some magic fix it all? No, it's not. It's just the beginning. It's just the start. You have to exercise. You have to eat right. You have to get the right amount of protein. You have to do everything else right. It's just one little piece of the puzzle that can make you healthier. So ask yourself, am I doing this because I want to maximize my health and how I feel and my energy and I want to be healthier? Or am I doing this because I want to lose weight? I want a six pack. Those things aren't bad. And as you lose weight, you will be healthier. But it's a really slippery slope on there when you look at what is my motive for doing this. And if you have the right motive and if you want to improve your health, then I would say, okay, you're researching this or you're getting into this or looking at this for the right reasons. But if you're doing it for vanity, you're going down the wrong road and you're going to cause yourself problems probably in the future.
I think that's an interesting point. And also to add to that, when we're looking at the use of these products, there's other ways you can attempt to maintain a higher level of testosterone, but a lot of that is, immediacy, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to have a long term effect because your testosterone will go down. But people will also want to know, well, I'm not into TRT. Hey, great, but hey Steve, hey B, is there other things I can do to maybe keep my testosterone levels higher? Well, I'm an avid believer in lift weights, eat right, uh, vitamin D, zinc, vitamin D, get your vitamin B, get your sleep, ginger. What's that funky one called? Ashwagandha or something like that. These are
Yeah.
natural herbs. These are things that suggest that our testosterone levels can stay a little bit higher as we do this. But like Steve says, it's just not one thing. You can't just do this and go home and sit on the couch and eat a bowl of ice cream. It's not going to help
No,
you. You have to
it's not.
you have to have the lifestyle as well to maintain health. It's a supplement to your health.
Yeah. And there's multiple forms that you can take the testosterone into your body. But in all these so-called natural testosterone's naturally is in your body. So it, a lot of people say, well, you're taking, you're on TIT, you're using steroids. Well, there's an argument there. No, it's a natural occurring substance. I'm not taking, Dianabol or any of these drugs. It's different. But it's you gotta check your attitude and why you're doing it, and the natural stuff, that some of the stuff you mentioned, I do all that, but guess what, that's not going to put a dent in where I should be. So that's not okay. So my testosterone's 100, now it's 110. I'm exercising, okay, it's 150. I'm eating right, it's 150. What would it be if I'm not doing all those things right? I mean, would I be dead? I don't know. So everyone's different. You hear me say this on almost every interview, almost every discussion, every video. Everyone is different. I'm different than everyone else. I can relate what I do and what I think works for me, but I'm still figuring me out. So that just goes to show you that everyone's different, and every age is different. When I was 25 is different than age 60.
It's neat that you say that everything is different, And when it comes to my approach to these, I'm currently not on a replacement therapy. However, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I'm going to be the best test subject when we're doing our discussions. The day I do start, and I'm not going to start right now. I'm still doing all the other stuff that I'm trying to do, just trying to hang on. But I have every intention come the spring to really get into getting my testing done and really focusing on making this an option in life. And if I do make that final decision, we will be discussing this and we'll be tracking my progress because everybody is different. Everybody's different. I might end up on this and go, yeah, this does nothing. I doubt that's going to happen. But at the same time, I might get on this and recognize after, a couple of months that, boy, this really was a great idea. So
What's important, advice I would give is wait as long as possible and then use the smallest dosage possible. Why? Your body will respond better.
I think that's perfect. And your doctor's going to, when you go to these specialists, they're not going to come in trying to turn you into the Hulk. It's not going to happen. They're good about this. They know it. They're not fools. This is, like I said, this is not black market stuff. I would
No.
tell everybody stay away from the vanity drugs. Stay away from it. This is something that we're talking about that is with your doctors.
Yeah, and a specialist. We'll end on that. The specialists are completely different than a general practitioner, your doctor that you go to for your physical once a year. They're not going to be informed or even have the same philosophy on this stuff as a specialist will. So anything that you would want to add at the end here? I mean, we'll talk about this more. I'd love to see in the years coming in or whatever, what you're doing and where you are. And look, I talk open and honest about this. Um, and of course it's my opinion, but I just think that benefits people to where they can start. I want to motivate them to go investigate this stuff for themselves and see how their body works.
Well,
So any last words?
I think that's important. It's about you. Build your body, know your body. And, granted, I know we're having a conversation on something that I don't partake in, but I have been studying this. And I really took it on this last year because I'm seeing changes in my body and in the way I feel and operate and act that I'm like, okay, I know what the answer is. Now I'm going to look more into it. My reluctancy is I haven't studied enough. That's the way I am. I want to make sure I know every bit I can so that when I go in and have that conversation with a specialist, I actually know what the heck he's talking about or she's talking about.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being with us, Brian. Brian Sanchez. He's in Carson City at the Fitness for 10. I'm at stevemain.com if you want to reach out to me. Put your opinions, your experience in the comment section. We'd love to hear about it. So thanks for being with us, Brian.
Thank you, Steve. We'll see you in the next one, and go Big Ten.